Vinny, come and lie down. Come on. Slipper, lie down. Lie down, Slipper. Come on. Come and lie down, both of you. You've been pests. So, I think I am live, hopefully. Just wait to see more. I do apologise about my dogs. I'm not sure what Vinny's doing. Vin, come and sit down. That could be interesting. Let me just copy this into the Facebook group. All very technical. Oops. Go. So, oh, we've got 8 people. Hello, hello, hello. And there I am messing around doing other stuff, and there you all are. So, and I look very serious on the screen there. So, hello everybody, and lovely to see you all. Right, so I am going to just open this up, and you'll see me. And I apologise about my horrible dogs if they start messing around. I'm hoping they won't. I have got a list of questions in front of me. I have got my Pepsi Max just in case I lose my voice. And hopefully I've got some answers to your questions. Now, I've got some questions here which I will endeavour to answer. If you've got any other questions that come up, hi Iris, hi Fiona. If you've got any other questions that come up, do please just ask them in the chat. So you're going to have lovely me here, looking lovely as ever, and I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you some Facebook stuff. Now, there's a few like techniquey things around how to use pencils, but I haven't really got anything set up. I have got my lorikeet on my drawing board, so we may or we may not kind of zoom in on that and have a look at that, but we'll see how we get on. So without further ado, what I want to talk about first is, it's a question, I can't remember who gave it to me, but basically, how do you add a review section into Facebook? Now, actually, you know, some of you might go, oh, well, you just Google it and find out. Well, I did Google it, and there were all sorts of different suggestions, and one of them I couldn't make head or tail of. The other one was quite straightforward. I mean, obviously I kind of know how to add the review section, but yeah, so it's not always as easy as Googling something and finding out, because you get quite a few different answers. So I'm just going to switch off me and switch on my screen, and then hopefully what you will see here, and please just give me a shout if you can, although actually I'm just going to pull that out so that I can see that. And then if anybody, hi Booney, oh I like Booney. I think Booney's a good name. Yeah, no, if anybody can't see my Facebook page here, then hi Sue, then please let me know. Okay, so I've got my Facebook page here, and hi Krista. So everybody should be seeing now my Facebook page, and basically to get the review section, so I have got, I don't even know where my review section is, to be quite honest. It's probably in there somewhere. Yeah, so I've got reviews and everything there, which is really lovely. Um, so if you haven't got your review section on your Facebook page and you want to have it on your Facebook page, and you know, I think it's a good idea to have a review section on your Facebook page because it it shows people that you know you've got people talking about you and you've got people saying nice things about you, and that's amazing. The really sad thing about hi Deb, hi Anita, hi everybody. The really sad thing about reviews is sometimes you can have really unkind people who will come in and give you 1 star and say something mean for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Okay, and that then pulls your review down, and it's really mean. People can be really really mean, you know, and sometimes it's worth getting in touch with that person and saying please remove it, or even sometimes it's worth, you know, just turning your review section off. Some people do turn their review section off, you know, and that's fine. So if you haven't got a review section, oh, it sounds a bit echoey. Right, okay, hold on. Hold on. I don't know why it's sounding echoey because I've only got my sound is a bit echoey. Is it echoey for everybody else or is it okay for everybody else? I've only got my Mac microphone on. I haven't got my other microphone on, so it should be okay. Let me know what you think. Hopefully other people are okay with it. I might just turn it down slightly. It might just be a bit loud because I'm right here. Let me see. Does that sound a bit better? Let me know in the comments if that sounds a bit better. Right, okay, so I'm going to show you how to add the review section if you haven't already got it. So you open your page up like this and you go to okay for me, okay, oh, sounds okay, all right, okay, oh, that's cool. So you go to your page and you go up to the settings area here, and if you click on the settings, okay, and there's all of this information here which basically you will have gone through. Too low, oh, it's too low now, a bit hollow but no okay for me, too low now. Oh god, right, okay, let's turn it up a little bit. Whoop. There we go, turn it up to there. A bit distance or low or muffly here and my sound is up. Sounds fine. Too quiet now. Right, okay, I've turned it back up. Oh, honestly, it's a nightmare trying to get everything to work properly. It was better before. All right, okay, look, okay, I'm gonna whack it right up. There we are. It's whacked up. Anyway, right. Can barely hear you at all. Too low. So we're going to have a whole hour of trying to sort out my sound. I've whacked it all the way back up again. Can't hear you. Too low now. That's really strange. I've got yeah. I'm just gonna turn that up, and it should all be okay now. Hopefully it's all right now. Anyway, so we're into our settings. So we click on settings, and you come through to all of this information here. And what you need to go to is you need to hit the templates and tabs part. So you hit your templates and tabs and you get a whole load of other bits and pieces. Brilliant, fantastic. That's all good. So you get all of these different things, and this basically, all of these items here are the areas that you can have within your Facebook page. And all you go to is you go to your reviews here, and you click on the settings, and you either have reviews on, or if I click off that on that, it'll turn them off. I'm not going to turn them off because I don't want to lose my reviews, but you either show reviews or you don't show reviews. So you just click on and Bob's your uncle, and that's it, and it's on, and then you save it and off you go. If you want to share your reviews tab, so if you want people to if you ask somebody if they would kindly give you a review, so maybe oh, I need to have a drink now, I'm starting to croak. If maybe you've done a commission for somebody and you'd really like them to send a review, you can copy this URL here and send it to them and just say, would you mind doing a review for me, please? And that's it. It's as simple as that. I would recommend you do have your reviews on, but I would be aware that sometimes you do get some unkind people, and they can, you know, put something unkind on, which pulls your stars down. And in that case, you can switch it back off again if you want to. Okay, so that's it, and that's how you add a review in Facebook. So if I just come back to here now and we turn that off and we come back to me, which is amazing. The next question I was asked was, what's the best pencil sharpener? Now, pencil sharpeners, I think we all end up having our absolute favourites for pencil sharpeners. You know, we have the little tiny sort of Staedtler ones. There's the Tesco ones that people get, which are the little animal ones that are supposed to be amazing. Faber-Castell do one with, I think it's got 2 or 3 holes in the top. You know, some people like that. Now, my favourite is the Swordfish Curve. So this is, there we go. And you can see there's hardly any shavings in there because I never sharpen my pencils. So it's the Swordfish Curve. So this is my absolute favourite pencil sharpener. Now you can see here, that's where you put your pencil. Now that is quite a large hole, and it will fit. Just get all of the pencils that I've got here. It will fit the really big fat ones, and I don't know whether I've got a Prisma. No, I haven't got a Prisma. It will fit the big fat ones, and it will fit the skinnier ones. So I've got here, I've got two drawings there. I've got a Luminance, I've got Polychromos, and I've got a Pablo. So they're all slightly different barrel sizes. The drawings are probably more like a pastel pencil. Oh, thank you. Well, I had to have them done. I had to have my nails done for the telly tomorrow. I thought I better have some part of my body that looks relatively professional, so I have my nails done. And it's called, what's it called? Sassy Sapphire, something like that. Oh, you use that for pastel pencils, do you see? Well, that's interesting, because so many people can't find a pencil sharpener to help with their pastel pencils because they just break or whatever. But what's really, really good about this particular one is that the you can see there, if I pull the thing down, you can see the little hole opens, and it's big enough to fit all of the pencils in, and the aquarelle as well. Yeah, let me find an aquarelle for you. I've got one in here somewhere. No, I haven't. You sit down, Vincent. See those naughty dogs. I don't know whether you can. Oh, you can't see him. You might be able to see him behind me. Thinks he's going outside, but he's not. Yes, aquarelle as well, and they fit all of them. And what's really nice about this, Vinny, come and sit down. Vinny, come and sit down. Come on, Vin. What's really nice about this one is it's got the rubber grippers. Oh, I'm just going to text my daughter and tell her to come and get the dog. It's got the rubber grippers. No, Vinny, shush. In fact, I'm just going to let him out. Hold on just a second. Come on, you horrible things. It's only because Frankie's having his tea. Go on, out. Out, out. Get out, out of Maisie, because it's been a pain. Right. Quick exit and back again. Right. Yeah, so what's really nice about it is it's got the rubber grippers, so you don't get any of those horrible, hi Kathy, you don't get any of those horrible teeth bitey marks. Yeah, it's such a good one, and this is my second one in 3 years, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect. You pull it out and you put your pencil in, just put it in, hold on. So you put your pencil in. It has got the auto stop, And you've also got this little bit on the end here, so you can turn that out to make it sharper, or push it back in again to make it not quite as sharp. And then you just turn the crank. Turn the crank and turn the crank, and then it kind of stops. That's the auto stop, and then you pull it out, and you have a nice sharp pencil. So yeah, that is my absolute favourite. Now, other ones that people like are, this is the Swordfish Curve. People tend to like the Derwent one, the Derwent Super Point, but then I've heard that some of the Derwent Super Points end up, oh hang on, they can break quite quickly, I've heard, but other people really love them. And then I really like the crank sharpeners. I'm not a big fan of the electric ones. I think if you're working on smooth paper, the electric ones are pretty good, because you need to have a sharp point all of the time, so you literally just dip it in and then you've got a sharp pencil, and then off you go again. But I really like the crank ones, and the Swordfish Curve is my favourite. I did get my glasses fixed, so these are my old ones, and then I've got some new ones here. Oh, that looks a bit weird, doesn't it? How odd does that look? They've given me 2 pairs, and ridiculously, they did them. They gave me the prescription was too strong, so I had to sit really, really close to my drawing to be able to see, so then they had to change them back again. And now I'm closing my studio door so the dog can't get in. Right, that's interesting. That's interesting that Derwent, you can't get the aquarelle and you struggle with the luminance. Yeah, well, the Swordfish Curve, you can get all of them in, and pastel pencils as well, and it doesn't give you those little grippy, teethy chewed on them. You know, so that's, I think it's my favourite. I think it's brilliant. So that's the best pencil sharpener. Cute glasses, thank you. And so the next one that's come from Patsy is, oh, this is quite a good one actually, engagement on Instagram. So what Patsy's saying is that the engagement on Instagram is usually with artists rather than specifically a client. So, and I completely get that. So the thing is, when we're on Instagram, we tend to follow other artists. So everything that comes up into our feed tends to be other artists. Well, you know, you follow whoever you want to follow. I kind of have other artists, I have dogs, I have cats, but I don't tend to follow a huge amount of people, but I do see a lot of art on my Instagram page. So I can completely understand how when you start to share your art, other artists then start to follow you. So you're basically trying to engage with and promote your business to try and get commissions or sell your art or other, all of that sort of stuff on a page where it's full of artists. You know, so actually, yeah, it can be quite challenging. Don't forget though that artists do commission people. Artists do buy art. I mean, I buy a lot of art. I don't know whether you can see over there. There's obviously my leopard and my squirrel that are canvases, but then this, oh gosh, there. That was a commission piece that I did from you know, an artist friend of mine. That's the 4th piece I've bought from her. I buy prints from people. I've bought an original from Sarah, our lovely Sarah, who's in the chat at the moment. He's waiting to be framed. I've bought some original bees. I've bought loads of prints. So I do like to buy art. I'm an artist, but I do like to buy art as well. I like to support artists, but I like to buy art. So don't ever feel that because your work's only showing to hi Claire, your work's only showing to artists that they won't buy it. You know, because they will. But I do understand what you're saying. So how how can you then, what does it say? How will that translate into customers? Right, okay. So how you're going to show or have your work seen by potential customers is basically around who your customers are. So working out who your client base is. So if you're going to be drawing, you're wanting commissions for, say, a horse. So you want to be doing commissions for equestrian commissions. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, Vicky can't comment. She can hear me and she can see us. Yeah, so if you're wanting to try and promote your commissions for horses, on Instagram, if you choose the hashtags that are going to put your work in front of people who have got horses, then you are more likely to be able to sell your commissions. So, you know, choosing hashtags where people are going to be looking. So horsey groups. So if I post a horse piece, it will always include the breed. So if I the little show pony that I did at Christmas, the hashtags that I used for him. In fact, let's just have a look and see. This is my Instagram. It's my Instagram on. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Oh, how gorgeous is that? That's a photograph. That's really nice. Right, let's just find my page. Oh, and the other thing as well is my page has shot up over. I couldn't understand. I was like, have I lost followers? Have I gained followers? This piece here, the doggy video, was shared by a really big page, and I've got. I must have had sort of like 600 new followers in the last 3 days. So it's really, really worth tagging, putting videos, putting things on that people are going to stop and have a look at. So if I just scroll down here to find the little pony that, oh, here we go. So if I look at him and I look at my hashtags. So the hashtags I've used for this little pony are Horse of the Year Show 2019. That's relevant because it was a Horse of the Year Show champion. And hashtag Horse of the Year Show. Ponies on Instagram is quite a big one. Welsh pony because he's a Welsh pony. Welsh section C because he's a Welsh section C. Bay pony, cute pony, pony drawing, horse drawing. And then I've got my coloured pencils, Coloured Pencil UK, CPS, Equine Art, Horse Art 10 because you want them to follow you, and the other ones as well. So I've kind of got, at the beginning, I've got the a few where I'm hoping people with horses will be hanging out and will see my piece. And then, oh, you probably can't even see that, can you? You just see me messing around. Hold on a second. You'll be sitting there going, what on earth is she talking about? Here we go. So, yeah. So the beginning hashtags are all around where potential clients might be hanging out. Okay, so that's quite important. You know, to ensure that the people, your potential clients, are seeing your pieces in the right place. You know, and then what will happen is hopefully they'll like your page, they'll come and follow you, they'll get in touch, yeah. So really looking at your hashtags, really thinking about where potential clients are going to be. Be careful that you don't add hashtags that have got like millions and millions of followers, because if that's the case, you're very unlikely to be seen. You know, you might be there for sort of like a couple of seconds and then you're gone, because it's a very popular hashtag, lots of thousands, low thousands, you know, 50,000, maybe a couple that are sort of like up into the 250,000, and then every now and again, or you know, you can always shove that million one in the hope that you might be seen, you know. But the most important thing is to ensure that your hashtags are relevant. So it's about what it is that your piece is. You know, there's no point me putting so I've got a show pony here, there's no point me putting Carl Hester and hashtagging Carl Hester in there, because this pony is nothing to do with Carl Hester. So people might look at it and then go, hang on a second, there's nothing to do. You know, so hi Bonnie finally. Oh, hi Sue. Yeah, so just make sure your hashtags are really relevant and really think about where your clients are going to be. You know, and tag those in, and then tag in your coloured pencil ones and all, and your arty ones as well, because people do follow art. You know, non-artists do follow art. You know, so that's obviously relevant. Yeah. So yeah. So that's how do you know the numbers for a hashtag? Oh, okay. So if we look at this one, and I don't think I can make a new post. Can I edit it? Let me see if I can edit. No, can't edit. If I click on working dog comes up. So there are 2 million posts in the working dog one. And that's how you find out. Normally what happens is you'll type in your hashtag and it will actually come up on your phone. Let me see if I can do it on my phone and then share it with you. It will actually come up and it'll say however many there are. So if I do him, oh, I've put it on. Take that off. Hang on. Right, I'm just going to put you back to me. Right, so I've got on my phone here. I've just typed in. Oh, I don't know whether you can see that. Ooh, there we go. Can you see that? Oh, that's better there. So I've typed in. Oh my god, why is it doing that? I've typed in hashtag parrot, and then you can see there. The first one is Parrots of Instagram has got 1.3 million posts. The next one is Parrot, that's got 3.9 million posts. The next one is Parrots, that's 1.8. Then you've got Parrot, what's the next one? Parrotlet, I don't know what that is. Parrot Lover is 363,000 votes here. Parrot Lovers 226. So you should be able to see how many there are, how many numbers are on that hashtag. And then you can make a decision whether you're using the you know, a really big hashtag or a smaller one. But it's about ensuring that that is relevant, but also where your potential clients are going to be. There's no point just hashtagging loads of arty stuff. Well, there is, but if your clients are going to be somewhere else, that's where you need to be finding them. But finding them in the right place, but also making sure that what you're hashtagging is relevant, because you don't want it to be, you know, totally irrelevant. And that's basically how you do it. And you'd also ask, you know, engaging with people, you know, create really engaging posts. You know, ask a question. One of my stories did really well recently because I asked a question. You know, I showed a load of brightly coloured pencils, and I said, you know, what do you think I'm drawing? I got tons and tons and tons of engagement from that. You know, so it's, and of course Instagram loves engagement. They love people to be talking, so the more you have engagement on your Instagram page, the more you're likely to be seen elsewhere. You know, that's relevant to what it is that you're talking about and what your post's about. So that's kind of, you know, how you do it with your Instagram. Okay, so my next question is around selling prints. So this is a really interesting one, and selling prints is not something that I have particularly gone into. And basically that's because I just don't want the extra workload. I really don't want the extra workload. It's all about the, you know, you see people and they do all of their prints and they're posting everything, and you see these great big, you know, all of these envelopes and hi Judy, all of these envelopes with the prints that they're posting out, and that to me is my idea of absolute hell. I couldn't, I mean, I can't cope with just one parcel going to the post office, let alone a load of prints. So I haven't done anything about prints just recently. However, I have been looking into it because I do get a lot of inquiries about prints and people saying, "Oh, can I buy a print of this? Can I buy a print of that?" And occasionally I will get something printed and send it off, but not on a not to that, because for me it's almost like passive income. So I can have prints. So you can see over there I've got my leopard and the squirrel, um, and they're on canvases. Those two, uh, you know, and they look really, really nice. They look fantastic. And they're going with me tomorrow. But really, I could have pieces like that on my website, and I could be making money from them just with people buying them. But I don't want to be taking orders through my email and going, oh God, like we'll get one printed off, or I don't want to have to buy in a printer. I don't want any of that because I'm not interested in doing that side of things. So what I've done is I have been in touch with a company. They're called Dot to Dot, and this company they sound really, really good actually. They they will do whatever you want them to do. They've sent me some sample pieces of their printing here. So not the most attractive picture, but you can see. I don't know whether you can see there. That's sort of like a textured paper. That one is a soft textured natural white 100% cotton paper. I've then got a smooth cotton high white. I've then got a smooth cotton natural white, and I don't think you can really see the difference here. They all look white to me. And then I've got soft textured natural white, which feels more like a cold press watercolor. Soft white cotton. That's quite nice actually. And then I've got the Decor watercolor. So that is definitely, I don't know whether you can see that. Oh, you can kind of see the texture a little bit there. That's got a definite texture on it, which is quite nice. And then you've got this one, which is really smooth. This one's Decor Smooth Art, you can see. So they sent me this little pack, and basically how they work is you send Redbubble as well. Yeah, yes, that's another one that's good. This is a print on demand company. So I don't know whether they do anything other than sort of fine art prints. I'm sure they do. But basically, you send them your artwork. You have a portal that you can log into. You give them all of your details. And then what happens is you link up your website to their website. I can have all of my prints on my website, with the shopping basket, tabs, everything like that. And basically people will go onto my website, go, oh yes, I'm going to buy a squirrel, I'm going to have it on the Decor Smooth Art, and I'm going to have it 12 by 16. So they'll put their order in. That order then goes directly to Dot to Dot. Dot to Dot does all of the printing, all of the the packaging, all of that type of stuff, everything. They just do everything. They send it out, and then I get money. Obviously not as I don't know how much I get, but I just get a little bit of money for it. To me, that is that for me is the better way, of doing, having prints for sale. You can do it so that you organize all of the getting in touch, and they can print it and they can send it to you and you can ship it out. But to me that is just I can't be doing with posting. So that's something that I'm going to be trying out. Deb, yes, so I have got a scanner and I can do scanning. However, and it's not bad actually, but I've got a chap in Harrogate where my children go to school. My child goes to school. My youngest child goes to school, and his scanning facilities are far, far better than mine. He actually does printing as well. He did the canvases back there, and his scans are by far and away better than mine. And I guess that's just because it's a bigger scanner. But I can use my scanner. So I can use my scanner. I've got the Epson Perfection 600 V600 photo scanner, and it is pretty good actually. So I can scan my pieces, and then I can just email them or drop them into my membership portal place on Dot to Dot, and then off we go. So for me, that is definitely the way that I want to go for doing prints. You know, I'll scan them or have them scanned, send them off, and then I don't need to know anything else then. You know, hopefully I'll just get a little bit of money coming through every now and again, which will be perfect. But you know, you can buy printers, you can buy the printers, you can buy the giclée paper, you can do it all of yourself if you want. So Bethany Veer, she does all of hers herself. I don't know whether you've seen her print setup. It's a big old printer. It would have cost her quite a bit of money, I suspect. But she does quite a lot of you know, of that print side of things. You know, and that clearly works for her. And also Jessica Lennox, she does a lot of prints. Now I don't know whether she has a company that does her printing for her. I'm not sure. We'll come on to that soon, if that's okay, around websites. That is one of the questions. Yes, that is one of my questions. So we'll sort that. So that's the other thing. So the signing of them. If you're going to do a limited edition amount of prints, that is when you would hand sign and you would hand number. Okay. If I was just going to send out prints willy-nilly of the squirrel, you know, it's not got a limited amount, it's not got a shelf life, it's just going to sit there and people go, yep, want to buy a print, yes, I'll buy a card, yes, I'll buy a whatever. Yeah, exactly, Kathy, it's a lot of money, but worth it if you're going to if it's part of your business model, and that's the route you're going down. So if you're doing a limited edition amount of prints, then it's best to get your prints printed, all of them printed, get them sent back to you, you'll number them all, sign them all, and then yes, you will have to send them all out and you know, do all of the postage yourself. I don't intend to get into that side of things. So for me, it's just passive income. It's just about, you know, so it'll have my signature on it, but it will be within the print. You know, and if you're just doing a normal print, it doesn't need to be hand printed. So that's a call that you need to take. And you need to make a decision as to whether you're doing limited edition prints or just sort of like an open print run. You know, it just sits there and it keeps on going. Yeah, so that's, you know, if you've got any other questions about the print side of stuff, you know, do let me know. We've got sizes, we've got pricing, we've got paper, presentation, packaging. So sizes, it can be anything. I mean, obviously it needs to be relevant to your piece. However, you can blow something up enormously, and because you'll be looking at it from a distance, it will still look amazing. You don't really need to worry about the resolution when you're going from sort of like a relatively small up to big, as long as it's a really good high resolution scan that you're taking. Pricing, in the past when I have sold prints, so for instance, my printer will do a 10 by 16, 12 by 16, so 12, that's 12 by 16, that there, print, and he charged me £10 for that, which is pretty good. And I would mark that up, so I would mark that up probably, so at 12 by 16 I would probably sell for about £75. You know, that's what I would, and I guess you would discuss your prices with your print on demand company if that's what you wanted to do as well. Don't undersell yourself with your prints. You know, the other problem is if your original pieces are quite cheap, then your print prices have to be relevant to that. So if you're only selling an original for £50, you can't really warrant a print being more than £5-10. You just can't, because then people are just going to go, well, I'll have an original. You know, so once you get into the realm of having your work selling for a reasonable price, then you know your prints can be up to the sort of like the 75, 125 you know, range. If you go into the galleries, if you go into the big galleries, Whitewall Castle, you know, that type of thing, then you're talking £800 for a print. I mean, they're framed as well, but you're talking £800 for a print. You know, whereas the original will probably be around 4,000, something like that. So just be aware, if your prices are really low, your print prices are going to have to be really low as well. And you know, you're still going to have to pay 10 quid for a print from your printer, probably even more. So you know, you just have to be careful that you're not ending up doing your prints and then not really make it. It just becomes a pain in the neck because you're not really making very much on it. Packaging, presentation, etc. If you're going to be sending them out yourself, I would suggest using, you know, you can get those acid-free acetate bags. I'd give yourself specific sizes, and I would get those little slips that you can then put your prints in. You can create. Normally, what happens is if you have a printer, they usually have a certificate of authenticity that they can pop in with it. I think I've got one somewhere. I'll have to have a look. You know, a certificate of authenticity is a good idea with a print. Usually that would be with a limited edition print, but even so, it's still quite nice to have a certificate of authenticity. So you put that in with, well, you wouldn't put it in with your print, you put it on the outside. And presentation and packaging, well, that's up to you. You know, it can just be in an envelope. You could buy some lovely presentation boxes if you know you can afford it. I mean, they're expensive. My packaging is very, very, very basic. You know, it's recycled. There's nothing fancy about it, and I probably should make more of an effort. But you know, the packaging is entirely up to you. You know, but you want to be making as much revenue as possible from your prints. So you know, a brown hardbacked envelope is perfectly adequate for sending your prints out. But just make sure you do use the acid-free acetate to just put your slip your prints in, and then that should work fine. So I've got a couple of questions around some drawing techniques, and one of them is getting a glassy effect on our eyes. How do I do that? Now, if you'll have obviously, the majority of you will have seen, you know, my videos and how I create things. And for me, with eyes, it's about just putting enough information in there for it to be. Or do I sell them mounted? Well, again, Deb, that is entirely up to you. You can sell them mounted if you want, or you can just send them out just on their own. If you sell them mounted, I suspect if I use dot to dot, then they won't be mounted, they'll just be sent out and the person will just frame them. But you can buy mounts, certificate of authenticity for only originals and limited prints or all. Again, Krista, that's entirely up to you. I don't do a certificate of authenticity for an original because it's clearly original, so I don't need a certificate of authenticity. I would do it for limited edition prints, and I'd probably do it for all of them, to be honest. The limited edition one, I would have on that it is 1 of 50 or 1 of 25 or whatever, and you'd actually write on, you know, what print number it is. You'd also have the print number written on the bottom of your print. You know, so let me just find a print for you, and then I can show you. Hold on just a second. I've got one here. Right, so I've got the lovely Christopher Durant. I bought one of his bees, his lilac bees. And you can see there, he's done that by hand, and that is number 2 of 100, and he's written the name of the thing on, and he's put his name on there as well. And he's also signed it, but that's printed. So that's the print, and that will then go off and be framed. And when I frame it, I'll have all of this information showing as well. And then this is the certificate of authenticity that I got through with it. So his printer has done this for him, okay, and it tells you, you know, all about the print, and then you've got information here which Chris has put on. So it's the name of the piece, the artist, the date of release, the number, edition, and the image size that I've got, and the paper type as well. And then he's got the printmaker's there, and then his signature kind of scribbly bits there. So his printer supplies him with these, so one per print, because he's doing a limited edition. So it's entirely up to you. You can also make your own. You can have your own printed if you want. That's up to you. But with the print, and then he's also written a little note on the back, bless him. But with the print, you would number it here. You might decide to just do a print run of 20. That's up to you. Okay. So I like buying prints. I've got a few of Chris's prints, and I've got some of his originals as well. So it's worth it, but don't get too hung up on whether you're doing the right thing or not. It's good to have a certificate of authenticity, because it just is. It looks professional. So So yes, back to the eyes. I'm just trying to think if I've got. I may have a video. Just bear with, and I'll just get. Oh, I don't know whether. Oh no, it is. That's fine. I thought I'd stopped me going. Right, let's just have a look and see me doing an eye. Right, hopefully you'll be able to see this. I don't want to. Ooh, turn that off. Right, so let me do the screen capture again. Right, so I've got Brandy here, and I think we're going to do the show the eye here. Okay, so when I'm doing eyes anyway, I always, hopefully you can see my video going here, I always do the outside first. I just have this thing where I think it looks really freaky when you just do the inside bit first, and I like to get the outside done first, so that it's always the right shape and the right structure and everything. So if I just zoom, oops, right, okay, so here, when I start to create the inside of the eye, the colour that I always use is the dark indigo. So I'll always use the dark indigo first to kind of plot in parts of where the iris is, and where the pupil and everything is. And I tend to go in really light to begin with. So it will be a very, very light layer of the colour first of all, just to kind of get the shapes and everything like that in. And I find for me that works really well, because I can kind of get everything in and make it look pretty much how I want it to, and then start to darken everything up. So if you just move it a little bit further, so I've now got some brown going in here. It's a bit of a funny eye anyway, we haven't got tons of colour in this one, but I take quite a while in getting all of those little nuances in the eye in. So where there are little bits of highlight, that type of stuff, I'll leave those out, or I'll come back in and sort of like take them out a little bit. So not everything is done with a really hard, sharp pencil. It's done quite softly, and I'm always sort of, I'm always looking for character in the eye, if you like. For me, it's really, really important to get that character in the eye. Not your highlights shouldn't be too bright that they kind of stand out too much. Your catch lights can actually be sort of like a grey colour. And let's just come a little bit further. So we're starting to darken it a little bit here, but what I've got in the bottom might not be exactly the same as what is on the photograph. I tend to kind of put some little catch lights in the bottom as well, which they really, really do help to make the eye look alive, I think. and I'll use some quite bright colours in those catchlights. So I'll use like a cadmium orange, or you know, something like that, just in tiny places, just to give the eye like a real nice feel. Just bring it on a little, so you can see again, you know, we've gone from not putting a huge amount in to now starting to build up, but you've got all of these different little bits of colours around in the eye. You know, the Tombow is brilliant for just introducing sort of like some of those little highlighted bits, but this bit here was probably a mistake. This little catchlight here where my mouse is, that was probably a mistake, and I've probably gone, oh, actually, do you know what, that looks really nice, I'll leave that in, because that just gives it a little bit more life, and it also has the effect of making the eye look round. So just, oh, we're starting on the ear now, we don't want to know about ears. This is drafting film, you know, so it's a little bit different to working on Pastelmat, because you can't kind of layer over and blend and everything. So with the drafting film, you kind of have to start right from the bottom and work out, and then hopefully everything sort of works in there. With let me just have a look with, shut that one off, let's just see if we can find another one with drafting film, no, with Pastelmat. Let's find a Pastelmat one with a good eye. It's actually much easier to get that wet look, because you can go over the top with. Now then, what are we doing here? Two shoes, is that one? Let's have a look at that one. Okay, I'm going to listen to an advert now. With Pastelmat, it's much easier to get that glassy look, because you can use all of the lovely greys and everything over the top. So again, I'm starting with the drafting film. Oh, Penny. Well, we're on to Pastelmat now. This is Pastelmat. So again, I'm starting with the dark indigo. You know, starting to build that eye up really slowly there. Oh, I've blown it up there a little bit for you. Oh, hang on, let's just go back a touch. So putting these orangey bits in, but really lightly putting the orangey bits in. You know, so you've almost got like that ghosty look of the eye. Using those roundy circular motions with your pencil, because the eye is round, and also not necessarily giving it a whole, making the eye, you know, making the colour that you put on an even surface. So there might be bits that are a bit darker, bits that are a bit lighter, and then let's just go in a little bit more. So we've then got, so Kappa Bottom Violet is so good for eyes. I know it's like a red colour, but it is really good. And over the top of the oranges, you get this lovely burnt orange feel. And then you can start to build the eyes up here, but then leave little bits again. So it's all about your pressure. When you're working on the eye, lift up with your pressure, go a little bit harder with your pressure, but don't make everything exactly the same pressure across the eye, because you know the bit at the front is actually closer to you than the bits at the edges, and varying your pressure around that that spherical eye shape is going to really help you get that feeling that it is round and it is 3D. So let's just come in here a little bit more. So we've now got the Warm Grey 2, which is amazing. I mean, this is such a good pencil. You can actually create really lovely glassy looking eyes using the Warm Grey 2. So you put your orangey bits in, your browny bits in, and then like I've got in here, coming in here, you know, we've got the Warm Grey 2 coming in and just smoothing everything, but also lightening. But you're still going to get the orangey colour coming in underneath. So you can see this little catchlight that I've managed to get in here. It just makes the eye look real, you know, and you don't have to do a huge amount with the eyes. I mean, how long was this? We got to half an hour here. you know, half an hour and you've got a credible eye. You know, I mean, I'm just going in and faffing and fannying about with it, but you know, you've got a credible eye there for in half an hour. You know, let's just go a little bit further. CMV quickly became a fave for me. What's CMV? Caput Mortuum Violet. You can see that it's smoothed, it's smoothed, it's smoothed. We're coming to sort of like 36 minutes here, and we've been adding bits and pieces. Let's just go a little bit further. Oh, we're starting on the other eye. So that eye there took 43 minutes to create. Okay, and it's a good eye. It's a good eye. The trick is get some little highlighty bits in the bottom, even if you can't see them on your reference photo. Get some little highlighty bits in the bottom. Use oranges, or in this case, you know, the warm grey 2, and then you can actually get an eye that really does look glassy. But it's not, my eyes are never sort of like, you know, they're detailed, but it's not like I'm spending 3 hours on an eye. You know, I'll put as much information in there as I need, and then I'll leave it. You know, I think sometimes, you know, less is definitely more. Yeah, so let's just close that, and then we'll come back to here, and you can see me again. So hopefully that's given you an insight into the glassiness of eyes. The next thing about the pencils is Rhonda has said with okay, so Rhonda has said that with pencil strokes, sometimes I will colour a whole area in, and sometimes I'll just make strokes. So what, you know, why is that, and what's the difference? And I'm just thinking whether or not, I don't know whether my parrot will help, to be honest. It might do. Let's just go from there to there. I'm just going to put my light on so you can see better. So you can see on here, hopefully you can see the parrot now. Let me know that you can see this lorikeet. So on here, basically what I've been doing is, let me find the green. So on some of them, I'm just going to block in the feather. So this is just plain colour. And that's because I want a smooth look. So I will actually, I mean, if I do it in, if I do this little bit here, I will actually just completely fill in the shape, and I'll just put a smooth colour on that shape. Okay, and that's because because it's a smooth shape, and that's what I want. Now up here, these are sort of like feathery feathers, and I want there to be texture in here. So when I'm starting to put, I'll work down this bit here. When I'm starting to put these areas in here, no, this is on drafting film. This one's on drafting film. So when I start to put these textured feathers in here, I'm not going to completely put the colour in and have it all smooth. I'm gonna actually draw in the strokes, because that's then going to help me with the texture, and that's the same with fur. So if I'm drawing fur, a lot of the time I will actually try and get the texture of the fur in first, because that's going to be really, really helpful for me in subsequent layers. So I get the texture of the fur in, and then as I build the layers up, then that texture is going to keep coming through, and it's just going to be really, really helpful for me. So yeah, so sometimes I will just fill in a part just solid colour, because that's what it is. It's just solid colour, and sometimes I you know, I'll actually draw the lines in because I want that texture. So Judy, you have to try Pastelmat board. I always have fuzzy edges and it drives me nuts. Yeah, so the Pastelmat board tends to be much smoother. I mean, this is drafting film, so this is really smooth. But the pastel mat board tends to be smoother. You can also try different pencils on the, especially on the white. I find the Studios work really well on the white, and you can get some really nice smooth lines on there. But I guess to begin with, it is going to be a little bit fuzzy to begin with, just because of that's how that's how pastel mat is. But the board is really nice. The only problem is it warps, so you end up with it on a curve, and then you strap it down on your board and it pings back up, and it's like, oh. So working on film now, some of the areas like to reject the colour. Depends on the film as well, Judy. If you're using the graphics drafting film, oh, hi Elizabeth. Hooray. Yes, if you're using the graphics drafting film, you should be okay. What you have to be careful of is if you erase too much, then it can be a little bit difficult to get some of the pigment back on. So I'm coming up to the last question. Board is ace. It is. I love it. I really like the board. I mean, it still does really frustrate me, but I do really like the board. So question is advantages of having a website. So interested in selling. If you're oh right, okay. So the advantage of having a website, if you're more interested in selling your art than maybe having commissions, or if actually your art is more of a hobby. Now, I think if your art is more of a hobby, then I don't know. Is it worth having a website? I'm not sure. I mean, websites these days, you can get a free, just one page that tells you who you are. You've got your contact information in there. So you've got Facebook, you've got your Instagram, you've got whatever. And it will take you, I don't know, an hour to set up maybe. Is it worth having? Yeah, I think it probably is. If you've got a business, if you run a business and you are making, you're wanting to make a business from your art, whether it be commissions, whether it be originals, prints, whatever, I think it's really important to have a website. It's almost like your shop window. So where you do all of your communication will be on your social media platforms, that type of thing. And actually, if you have your social media platforms linked into your website, your website is going to see all of that, the activity that happens within your social media platforms. Everybody says about your website, you've got to keep it updated, you've got to have traffic going through, blah blah blah, and that's absolutely true. But if you've got your social media platforms linked to it, your website will see that as activity, which is good. So I would say definitely, if you are trying to make a living from your art, if you are trying to sell commissions, sell original art, that type of thing, definitely have a website. You can look at companies like Wix, you can look at companies like Squarespace. There are all sorts of companies out there who will do a free website for you. But when you go free, what happens is you don't get your own URL, so you don't get, so if we look at, let's just look at mine really quickly. So if we look at my website, so my website at the moment is it's under review, it's being reviewed. Basically, I can't remember what I was going to say. If you look at my website is a full website. There's all sorts of stuff in there. I've obviously got the exhibition in here. I've got Patreon linked to it. Website is great if you don't like getting in conversation about prices. Go look at my website. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So my website is bonnysnowdenfineart.co.uk. Yeah, it is. It's your shop window. It's there. It's people will go onto your website and go, right, okay, well, what's going on now. If you go with a company like Wix or with Squarespace and you choose to have a free website, what will happen is your URL, your web address up here, will actually look something like www.bonnysnowden bonnysnowdenfineart.wix.co.uk. You know, and then you'll also have down at the bottom, you'll also have you know, Wix, supplied by Wix. So you've got all of the like the different you know, watermarks and that type of stuff. So it's a free website is absolutely fine, absolutely fine. You know, it's not a problem. But I would say a free website, if it's just a page about who you are, and then you don't really want to use it for anything else. If you want to use it to sell stuff, you know, for people to contact you through, if you've got a blog on there, if you've got anything else like that, really you need to have a website that is properly set up. And also, you know, if you're planning on making a living out of something, you don't know where you're going to be going. You know, my website is a WordPress website, so there's all sorts of different things going on in the back. But it means that I can add loads of stuff into it. At the moment, it's a bit basic, and I'm working on it, and you know, I'm having different things done to it. But you know, I can add stuff into it. I can add videos into it if I want. I don't know whether there is one in here, but you know, I can add all sorts of different things into it. I can add plugins into it, all of that type of stuff, no problem. But if it was a free one, I wouldn't be able to do that. You know, you are limited with a free one. But your free one can have your prices on, and as Daryl said, you know, your prices. So my commissions are here. You know, I've got a link here, blah, 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 blah. Please join my waiting list. Oh, where's the link? Oh, that's naughty. I'll have to get them to put, I don't look after my website anymore, but I need them to put a link in because it's not there. That's a bit naughty, really. They've taken that out. Anyway, my prices are there. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, you've got to be really careful. You have to get your prices and everything. You've got to keep it up to date. You know, I mean, my pricing structure is very simple. You know, it's very simple. You know, if somebody wants to know something about me, or they want to look at my prices or anything like that, I just send them this link here. I just copy it and send them that, and then they open the link and it opens straight on this page, and they see everything they want to do, and then they either you know, subscribe to my wait list, which isn't there, so I need to. No, it's definitely. Oh, I think it's there. Look, that's my commission wait list, but you can't actually see it. So people will click on that link, but they can't actually see it. So I need to get them to look at that, and then they'll type in their email address, they'll subscribe, and then I can then go into MailChimp, and when I'm ready to start my commission wait list again, my commissions again, I can then just send everybody who's on my wait list an email, you know, and then, you know, I can start taking commissions. So that's fine. So I would definitely, the other thing as well is, you know, you can put about you in there, you can put your story in there, you know, but again, keep it updated, keep it up to date. If you want to send them somewhere else, you know, because I want people to go to my Patreon and join up, then you have your little button, and I click on that, and it takes them straight through to my Patreon channel. You know, brilliant. That's what I want people to do. So it is really useful to have a website. Yes, it is. This is a WordPress one, so it is quite complicated. But what I've done is I've got to the point now where I'm kind of delegating the stuff that I'm just not very good at. So I've given my website to a company who now keeps it updated, and it does all of they did the exhibition and everything for me as well. So they do all of that. And the exhibition looks amazing. Absolutely. Ooh, I love this app. Looks amazing. You know, and it's fantastic. Oh, that's beautiful as well. I shall have to go and have a look through. Oh, they're so nice. Oh, I'll have a look through all of those. But you know, you've got so much scope to be able to put everything on there. When and approximately how much do you pay for setting your site up? Oh gosh, so I set my site up in the beginning of 2017. I went through GoDaddy. I think my URL cost me something like £14 or something. I was then paying a lot of money, I have to say, to GoDaddy for security. and for, you know, basically the site and everything. So I'm probably paying around £250 a year, something like that. I've now transferred it from GoDaddy to this other company that I'm using, purely because I want to add some plugins that don't work with GoDaddy. So a lot of these big plugins, I want to add a membership site onto my website, and I've had to come away from GoDaddy because they wouldn't work with them. You know, these other companies don't really like to work with GoDaddy because they've got restrictions and all that type of stuff. So I'm now working with the company that I'm now got my website with is just a small company, a small local company, and they charge me £10 an hour just for what it is that they do. So if I just say, please can you upload and update these pics, send all of these pics and update them please, they will update them, and if it takes them 20 minutes they'll just put 20 minutes on a log, and until when I've got an hour then I'll pay £10. So it's brilliant for me because I don't have to get bogged down with having to, you know, look after my website. But I did look after my website for 2.5 years. I did update it myself. I did do everything myself, and it was a pain, but it's doable. You know, you can do it. Yeah, and now I pay for security. I think the security where you get your little padlocky bit, I think that was something like 80 something pounds with this new company, and then it's just £10 an hour going on. So it's definitely cheaper going through a local company than through GoDaddy for me. But I would say if you're wanting to make a living out of your art, if you're wanting a business out of your art, I would definitely have a website, definitely. You know, I think it's a no-brainer, and it can be as complicated or as simple as you like. You know, you can have all of these are all Unsplash. I don't know what that is. I think that's my YouTube channel. I think I need to get them to sort that out. The other thing about having somebody look after your website is it's not quite as perfect as you'd like it. So here I'm looking at these images here. These should all be the same size. If I'd have been doing it, I'd have changed these images and they'd all be the same size. You know, you know, so yeah, definitely, I would say have a website, especially if you're wanting to make a living out of things. So I think that's it. We've kind of gone on a little bit. I hope that's been helpful. You know, if you have got any further questions, you know, we can chat about that. That's not a problem. Tell tomorrow. As you can see, I have a face for the radio, not for the TV. So I'm going to be sitting in a corner. Sounds like my voice is going as well. I'm going to be sitting in a corner, slicing my parrot up. So you'll miss that from the tutorial because I won't be doing that. And I think I'll be taking my dogs with me as well. I'm not sure, not Vinny and Slipper. Oh my God, that would be wouldn't that be horrific? No, the Spaniel and the Labrador. I'm thinking of taking them with me as well. Oh God, can you just imagine if I'd taken Vinny with me on the telly? Oh gosh, that would be real proper car crash TV. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you all ever so much. Yeah, I will see you all soon.